This is another iteration of the front plate. I'm printing in blue PLA this time. Now I have had problems with blue PLA curling in a corner. It's sort of lifting in one of the corners, one or the other corners, usually on the right hand side. Now this bed, this is a PEI sheet on an aluminium bed which has a heater underneath, heat pad. Talk about the heat pad here. Details, well recommended. This PEI sheet was never laid totally flat. There are some bubbles in it, well, ripples and such like. You might gauge that by the reflections of the smooth rods there, especially wait until the bed moves forward, see how the reflections ripple. I mean, I would say it's still better than blue PEI, sorry. I would say it's still better than blue painter's tape, even though it is ripply. I mean, the prints come out quite well, even though it has those ripples. So I do ask for a skirt on these prints. That's what's doing now. That seems to be going well, printing quite well squished there. So it's blue PLA, E3D version 6 hot end there. Well, it's a clone. BL touch on that carriage. That's for doing the like auto leveling and homing and such like. That BL touch, well recommended. Gets a big thumbs up. Should work on it almost any bed. It uses like the servo control of the ramps to lower and raise the pin there to test the level of the bed. All under ramps control. I use ramps 1.4. So it's 0.4 nozzle on that hot end, and I'm using my quick release belt drives feeding system that I've remixed and hopefully improved. It is a quick release belt drive. It does help getting filament in and out. It's less hassle because it's just like a bolt that you can unhook and get the filament in and out. You might have to loosen it off a bit, but it's a lot easier to do that than some other filament feeders which need two balls to be undone. So I'll just let you watch. This is I think a 5.5 hour print, something like that. So I'll just let you watch the beginning of this print, and then I will be putting it on time lapse and chopping bits out and such like. So this is the front cover for the LCD 12864. There is a slight modification. There is a safety plate, I'm going to call it, that stops the SD card getting pushed into, well, between the display and the circuit board and such like. And I've just increased the size of that, the height of it a bit, so to speak, on this iteration here. So it is hopefully going to be a slight improvement. Our printers tend to go a bit slower at first when it's doing a sort of first layer. In cover this is set to 30mm per second, I believe. If I remember right. Oh, it's 20% infill, 200 on the nozzle, 60 on the heat bed. I know it's PLA and people, and I'm on a PEI sheet, but that seems to work okay for me. So I'm going to leave it at that, even though I'm printing blue PLA here. As I say, I have had problems with blue PLA, especially bigger models, that one of the corners will curl up a bit. So we'll have to see how this one goes. Trouble is, it can take 3 hours before that starts to happen. Flashing light here is my RGB. I'll talk about that here. That's to warn me that the heat bed is hot, using Arduino Nano and a sensor board. Looks a little bit rough on some parts here, but I'm going to leave it. Even though that's a bit rough, I think it'll be okay. I'm going to pause the video just now because it is as I say, I think it's a 5.5 hour print, something like that. 30 mil per second in Cura. Let's pause the print a while, then I'll come back in about an hour, I think. 50 minutes into this print. About 1 hour 10 minutes. I just couldn't resist showing you how nice it looks. One hour 40 minutes. I just wanted to show you the infill. So the infill is set to 20%. So you can see it putting a layer on top of the infill here. Still looks a bit rough in parts there, but I think it's going to be okay. One hour 43 minutes. Okay, I'm going to pause the video just now. 4 hours 12 minutes. Knocking against my LEDs there. So you can see the sort of barrier plate. I have put an indent in the barrier plate as well to help get your fingers in to get the SD card out. But 5 hours 10 minutes into this print now. It's 6 hours 38 minutes that this has been printing, and it's still probably got, well, I reckon a bit over an hour to go yet, looking at the bar graph. Can't see any curling. There's 7.5 hours. There's a very small amount on the bar graph on the LCD 12864 left. That could indicate there's another quarter of an hour yet. Well, it's had a long time to cool down. Yep. I think this comes off quite easy because there is a bit of a like round curve all around the edge here, and the scraper gets under that and helps pop it off. So that might be one idea if you're having a bit of a struggle with getting parts off, is put even just a small chamfer on part of it if it doesn't spoil the model. Yep, skate comes off one piece easily, well, relatively easily. Now the holes for the speaker, the buzzer here, have come out good. To show you the edge, because I have had like curls and corners before. It tends to be a bit rough on these ends to me. Layer lines there, but it is 0.2 this is printed at. That seems to be rougher on this side than it is on this side, slightly a bit, not a lot. So as I say, this is to get the SD card in and out, so you can get your finger and thumb in, basically. But that's like, here is too narrow to get the SD card past this plate in a way, and that's to stop the SD card going in and getting, say, stuck between the display and the circuit board, printed circuit board LCD 12864. You see a bit of this. If I had more like layers above and below, I think that might stop that. That's like where it's gone on the infill, what I would call quilting. That's on the inside, obviously. Nobody's really going to see it, but something to consider if it wasn't. Good print, very good print. Right, I've drilled out with 2.5, oh there it is, there's a 2, get two 2.5s, a couple of the smaller ones are double in here. These are probably the best twist bits I've ever got, and I've had lots of twist bits. These were from Aldi, so you get two lots of the smaller ones, 1.5 up to 10mm, very sharp, you have to be careful, even on the flutes here, very sharp indeed. Yeah, so I drilled out them, and then I put the bolts in first, took the bolts out, that put the threads on inside the plastic. You have to be careful obviously on the ones inside, you don't go through the front. But what I found in this is it seems like it's too far back slightly, because maybe this hole for the display is a bit too small. That button is just about level there, that's the reset button. This hole for the knob here probably still wants moving, well, making a bit bigger, because that won't press. I've noticed that some of these have round shafts, some do have a flat edge on the shaft, so there's two buttons online. That's for the buzzer. This is like the final back in a way. So the holes are for the stand, adjustable stand. That's partly been printed, but I might want to print it all out again. I'll just show you the slots. So this is the SD card obviously, and this sort of part up here helps stop it going like that side of the slot, and this plate here on the back stops it going behind the slot. That is the idea of those like plates. And obviously the cutout is just so you can say get your finger underneath. That's a cutout in the back. Get your finger underneath, get your thumb in the top, and a bit more of a hole there, so well, an indent sort of thing, so that you can get your, even if you've got quite biggish fingers, you can get them in and quite easily plug it in and out. As a basic idea of that. So that's pretty good. As I say, I think I'll make this hole bigger and move it down a bit, because this does not go all the way on. The edge of this is stopping it. And I might make this opening, I'll have to look at this opening, I'll have to compare it with my previous print, because this button was out a little bit, and I do want it out a little bit. I mean that's almost totally flush there. That's the longer one. But there you are, there's a look at that. I won't plug it in.